The short exclusive abilities are some of the least talked about in the game, and it's mostly because they're all really situational. There's 5 of them, which is the most exclusives that any piece of gear has, but they're still pretty interesting on the few things that they do work on. So today, I'm going to go through them, show you the weapons that do actually want one of these things, and talk a little bit about how exactly they work, since a lot of them don't have the best descriptions. This is part 3 of the Gear Guide series, so make sure you're subscribed so you can catch more of them. And let's get into the first ability, Respawn Punisher. It's time for stats! Here we go, as fast as possible. So first, if you get splatted, your respawn time is normally 8.5 seconds in this game, and you lose 50% of your special meter. If you, while wearing Respawn Punisher, kill someone, they will respawn in 9.25 seconds and lose 65% of their special. If you, as a Respawn Punisher user, get killed by someone else, you will lose 9.67 seconds of your respawn time, and will lose 72.5% of your special. And Respawn Punisher stacks with Respawn Punisher. So, if you kill someone who has Respawn Punisher and you yourself use Respawn Punisher, they will respawn in 10.4 seconds and lose 87.5% of the special. And the same will apply if you die to someone using Respawn Punisher while also using Respawn Punisher. On top of that, Respawn Punisher reduces the effect of quick respawn by 85% and Special Saver by 30%. 2 more little things. Respawn Punisher has no effect on assists. It does absolutely nothing. You must land the final blow, get the splatted message, or it will not count whatsoever. And last but not least, Respawn Punisher does not affect your respawn time if you fall off the map or drown. It'll still take away your special, but it won't take away your respawn time at least. This ability is mostly used on weapons that get a good amount of kills and stay alive a lot, so it's pretty situational. Generally, E-Liter is the more favored one. It's a bit better than the other Charger since the extra range keeps you alive, and it's better than Splatlings because it focuses more on kills than painting. It's still not something you always need, but it's nice on that weapon. Because the Respawn Punisher effects do affect you more harshly than your opponents, weapons that are aggressive typically aren't good for this. There's one exception, and that is Tetras, used to run Respawn Punisher for quite a while. They don't anymore because of another short ability I'll get into later, but the reason was because the special depletion didn't really affect them that much, because they had Splashdown, which is by far the worst special in the entire game, and just nobody really cares about that much. So, in general right now, I would say E-Liters, highly consider running this effect. Everything else, not really. The sad reality is, this ability was basically made to make sure quick respawn wasn't broken in this game, because in the first game it was the meta because it activated every single time you died, and it was everywhere, even on Chargers. Even with the nerfs in this game, it was pretty clear the devs wanted a backup option, so if people used a lot of QR, then you can run Respawn Punisher, because then it's very good at countering QR with that 85% reduction in respawn time. So on the off chance you fight a team with 3 or 4 quick respawn players, I guess you can use it there, but that's not really very common. Probably not worth making a set for. Next up is Ability Doubler, a piece of gear only available on the Splatfest tee, which you can of course use in multiplayer games, but is oddly enough banned from some Nintendo tournaments for some reason. It's not like it's broken or anything. It's actually pretty bad. Not the worst, but basically, sub-abilities are worth 3 AP or ability points, and main abilities are worth 10. So one piece of gear gives you 19 ability points, and the Ability Doubler gear gives you 18 because you have 6 subs, but no main versus a main and 3 subs. So you're getting rid of a little bit of ability strength in order to use Ability Doubler. The situationalness is basically if you have a lot of utility subs, which I don't know why you would ever need 12 sub-abilities. 9 should be enough in almost every situation, so this ability is pretty situational. On top of that, it being banned from Nintendo's tournaments, again, no idea why, is basically reason enough to not include it in any set whatsoever. Next ability. Next up is Haunt, another pretty complicated ability. So, Haunt locates people who kill you via a white silhouette, and it stays on them until they die. And the way it works is by showing their location if you are at least within a bamboo's range away from it, around that, it's not super specific, and they are not submerged in ink, which it lets you to see opponents behind walls, but it's pretty situational. The big thing about it that is a positive is if you kill opponents with it, they get Respawn Punished, which is the same effect as if you killed someone while wearing Respawn Punisher. The negative effects of Respawn Punisher do not apply to you at all, and the game never tells you about that second part at all, so good job, Nintendo. Good job on your descriptions. Please make them better for Splatoon 3. I'm so tired of having to clarify these. This ability is just kind of situational. Ideally, you'd think I'd recommend this for Slayers because of the respawn Punisher effect, but because the silhouette goes away when you get close to them, it's not as useful as you think. If it didn't, it would be great for Sloshers and Blasters. It's still not bad on Slayer weapons, just not great. It's okay as well on the regular Charger, since the location effect is far away enough for you to get use from it. Charger focuses on kills a good amount, and the respawn Punisher of E-Liter isn't as good on it because regular Charger tends to die a bit more and doesn't have as much range. So it's okay, situational on some front lines and regular Charger, but not great since the silhouette disappears if you get close enough. The second and last ability to cover is Thermal Ink. Thermal Ink locates someone with the same white silhouette thing, but with the Splattershot Pro range being the minimum, which is a little bit better than the Bamboo range of Respawn Punisher. Again, still only shows people if they are far enough away, and through walls if they're not submerged in their own ink. This one has a time limit of about 16 seconds. However, it has another small caveat. The shots don't reveal someone with Thermal Ink if they're indirects from a blaster, machine, or X-Splasher, which is some of the main weapons I would want to use this ability. I can see why they did this because it'd be really strong on those weapons, but it still kinda sucks. So Thermal Ink is really only useful on a few weapons. Long-range Splatlings it is okay on and has seen some use, but it's still pretty situational. But they do have the range to be able to see people with thermal and the quantity of shots to be able to get a hit on someone and be able to know where they are. But the main weapon that actually likes this thing is Blob, since Blob has both range and unique slosher angles to be able to poke people behind walls very easily, and only hitting one of those blobs will be able to locate them. So, Blobbers, get some Thermal Ink. Splatlings, you can maybe try it out if you're long range. Everyone else, don't bother. There's one more ability left, and it's actually my favorite in the entire game in terms of design, Ninja Squid. Ninja Squid makes it a lot harder to both see and hear the ink trail you have when you swim around the map, but it comes at a cost. It reduces your swim speed by 20%. I personally love this trade-off aspect. It's simple and it works super well. It means the ability has good strengths, but you can either run gear to compensate that strength, in this case swim speed, or deal with being really slow. It brings a lot more thought to making gear sets with Ninja Squid. However, the amount of swim speed you need to mitigate Ninja Squid isn't the same for every weapon, and this is because of weight classes. Basically, heavy weapons like the Tenebrella, E-Liter, and X-Splasher are slower than average weapons, but there are some weapons that are lighter, like the Aerospray, Clash Blaster, and Dapple Doolies, that have less restriction. Lightweight weapons only need one main and one sub of swim speed up in order to reach the average swimming speed, and normal weight weapons need around 6 subs. So, if you play a lightweight weapon and play aggressively, Ninja Squid is pretty useful, since it'll help you get around stealthily, and you can run enough swim speed to combat it very easily. Middleweight weapons, it depends. If you want it for aggressive weapons like an Octobrush, for example, it comes at needing a lot of swim speed to mitigate it, so you can find yourself with very little slots. At the end of the day, though, Ninja Squid is a trade-off. Because you can still see and hear it, it's not a super broken ability, it's just pretty useful because it makes it harder to notice. So, it's up to you if it fits into your playstyle. Personally, when I played Octobrush, which is a middleweight weapon, I liked having swim speed sets and Ninja Squid sets. And Splash, the most common weapon to have Ninja Squid right now, also has Ninja Squid and Ninja Squidless sets. So, I'd say have Ninja Squid as an alternate set if you play a lightweight, aggressive weapon. And that's all the shirt abilities. I know for some weapons none of these really sound super appealing at all, and that's just because shirt abilities are more situational. Some of them are solid, but a lot of them are pretty mediocre, but I guess that's what comes with making a situational ability in the first place. I still think they're pretty interesting, but that's about all of them. Next up will be shoe abilities, which are some of the most useful ones in the entire game. So, we'll get into that next time. Thank you guys so much for watching, and have a great day.